I'm going to be showing you a tutorial on how to hang sheetrock on your walls. This is a segment in an article that I'm writing right now on drywallcentral.com. I'm the author, Joe. I do drywall full-time. So my main goal here is just to help others if you're doing a DIY project or if you're a general contractor who doesn't really know much about hanging drywall and you kind of want to get into it. This is just kind of a guide that I wrote to help others when it comes to hanging the drywall. So I'm going to go through 3 different examples for this. I'm going to first show an 8-foot wall, then I'm going to be showing a 7-foot wall, and then I'm also going to be showing a 10-foot wall for the example, just to give you a general idea of how you should lay it out. So the first one that I want to go over is the 8-foot wall. It's the most simple one you can do, just because each sheet of drywall is 4 by 8. So the main 2 things that I want to get into though is anytime you are hanging drywall, you want to make sure that you're staggering your seams. This makes a stronger wall. And the second one is to always hang your drywall perpendicular to the joists. So I'm going to go ahead and draw on this page just to show you how it should be laid out. It doesn't have to be exact, just as long as you follow the main principles to stagger and run it perpendicular to the joists. So here we have an 8-foot wall, and I made the whole wall 20 feet. First, what you're going to do is start off, you could either start top or bottom in this case, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to show you here. So your first sheet of drywall is going to go up here. And then I did label these assuming that you do have 16 on center walls, 16 on center joists in your walls. This isn't always the case if you do have an older home or a wall that's on the inside of the home, not an exterior wall. You might run into a case where you have 24 on center, which it won't make a big difference whatsoever. So once you lay out the first sheet, you want to go ahead and do the other full sheet of drywall. And then next, you're going to be cutting and placing a 4-foot sheet of drywall. Okay, now in order to make sure that you have your stagger, all you do is just start from the other end and then work your way that way. So that way you can see here, each of these guys are staggered. And then we'll go ahead down from 12 to 4 feet and then go ahead to just one 4-foot sheet. Now you're going to have the factory seams, which are the recessed seams in the wall. You always want to make sure that those are directly in the center. So for the next example, I'm going to be showing a 7-foot tall wall. It's going to be the same length going across. This one's going to be a little bit different because you're going to have a rip down one side of the drywall going up top. So what I would recommend doing is actually just starting with the bottom and hanging your drywall there first, and then place your ripped pieces on top. So for this, I'm going to draw the 4-foot going this way, and then we're just going to continue it with another 4 by 8 sheet, and then you're going to have another 4 by 4 sheet, making sure that the recessed seams are going in the center. Next, what you're going to be doing is ripping 1 foot off of one side of the drywall, and then you want to make sure that the recessed seams are going to be lining up here. So now you're just going to start from the other way to make sure that you have the stagger. This is a 3-foot sheet that I'm placing. And then another 3-foot by 4-foot. And this way you make sure that you have your staggers. So it goes this, here, here, and here. And then you have the 3-foot. The reason why I don't like to do the 3-foot at the bottom is because you will be spending a bit of time taping and then mudding these joints, and you don't want to be bent over the whole time to do it. So this way it's kind of at, I'm going to say right around chest height, right around where your hands sit anyways, so it'll be much easier to work on this seam. And then next we're going to go over a 10-foot wall using the same 20 feet. And for this one, it's going to be slightly different. We're going to lay out a sheet here, and then lay out another sheet here, and then lay out another sheet here that is 4 by 4. And then now for this, go the opposite way again, so it's very similar to the first example that I showed. And then we're going to go back down to the 4, and then we have a 4 by 4 sheet here. So now you do have a big gap in the center, and what we're going to be doing is you want to create what's called a bastard joint. I don't know why it's called that, but it is super effective, and you won't have to, let's say if you did have this 2-foot area right here at the top of the wall, you'd be having to spend a whole lot of time on a ladder just taping that top joint going across. Same thing with on the bottom. If you'd have it at 2 feet going all the way across, and that wouldn't be too comfortable either. I've been on jobs before where the customer hangs the drywall, and they would have 8-foot 6-inch walls, and they just put a whole 6-inch strip down here in an entire room, and I would have to spend the whole day on my knees taping that, and it's not comfortable. So what you're going to do in this case is you're going to make a 2-foot rip, and you're going to be placing it right in the center here. One thing I want to recommend with this as well is keeping your factory joint right around this area, just because by the time that you get to floating out your seams, you're going to have to float it out pretty wide if it were what's called a butt seam. So in this 2-foot strip here, you might as well just keep the stagger going. You don't necessarily have to. It's just it's my preference. So what I would do is maybe just put like a full 8, a part of a sheet here, then a part of a sheet here, and then going this way as well. So remember, right here is where, actually here, I'll make it in a different color. We're going to keep your factory joint right there. And then the end where there is a factory joint, so there will be a factory joint going across the top of this area. But then the bottom of these will be a butt joint. So this means that you're going to have to float this area out quite a bit. I normally work them into each other when you get to mudding and taping. So this way everything is close to about where your hands are sitting anyways when you're standing up against the wall, and it just makes it a lot easier to do it. If this video helped you in any way with your drywall project, please let me know in the comments. If you do read my article, just say hi. If you have any questions, let me know. I always try to be reachable, and I do want to help you in getting your drywall done. So thank you so much for watching, and have a great one.